Welcome to Articulated, where we analyze action figures from paint to pivot. I'm Glenn.
I'm Eddie.
And this is the Hasbro Marvel Legends MCU Molten Man Wave, Scorpion. Scorpion, aka McDonald Gargan, was created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko in 1964's The Amazing Spider-Man number 19, but didn't actually become the Scorpion until issue 20. A mechanical tail with varying lengths over the years is fastened to Scorpion's suit and can be controlled with only a thought, acting as a third Venom-tipped arm. Speaking of symbiotes, Gargan became the third major host to the Venom symbiote for a good portion of the 2000s, before once again donning the Scorpion moniker.
The figure itself seems to be based on his appearance in the early 90s, possibly directly inspired by artists Todd McFarlane and Mark Bagley. The longer tail and stinger design seems to suggest this, and yes, before you ask, the mouth being covered is totally accurate.
This is the first time Gargan has appeared in the Marvel Legends line as Scorpion, but was made the Build-A-Figure of the 2018 Monster Venom wave. However, like nearly all Spider-Man villains, he did appear as Scorpion in the Spider-Man Classics line in 2004 and 2005, and again in 2009 as Venom.
Scorpion comes with the right leg of the MCU Molten Man Build-A-Figure. He doesn't come with any accessories unless you count his tail, and we do, because he doesn't really need anything else. Why? Well,
because Scorpion's tail measures out to 16.5 inches long, or almost 42 centimeters. Scorpion himself stands 6.3 inches tall, or about 16 centimeters. He seems a little short compared to your average Spider-Man figure, but we have to remember that he's pretty much a normal dude underneath that suit. Would we have liked to have seen him a little bigger? Maybe, but his size won't detract from his presence on your shelf.
To backtrack a little, this figure is comprised of 100% new sculpt, which is generally rare for a comic-based figure, and is one of 5 figures in this wave to get that same treatment, which is even more rare.
Proportionally, this new body is this many heads tall, which fits within the line quite well. In relation to the body, the tail is astonishingly long and includes a bendy wire allowing you to shape the tail however you see fit. Unfortunately, the wire isn't quite strong enough to maintain elaborate shapes, or perhaps the surrounding plastic is too thick, but it's good enough to loosely wrap itself around another figure. It's speculated the Legends team have to stick to strict safety regulation. In this case, it probably wouldn't be very profitable if the end of the wire broke through the plastic and stabbed the kid in the foot, but it would be thematically appropriate.
The only overall design choice we might have changed would have been to switch the upper torso from a double ball peg to an ab crunch. The current style allows for dynamic posing, but also seems like it may have a tendency to loosen over time.
On the other end of the spectrum, the greatest and most notable thing about the new sculpt is the engraved lines, bridging across the body. Segments on the tail perfectly aligned with segments on the suit, or at least the torso. Specifically, the leg segments line up with the thigh cut, unlike the MCU Mysterio figure we reviewed here, effectively making the point of articulation invisible.
It's this engineering and a brand new sculpt that earns Gargan a perfect 10 out of 10.
Of the 27 pieces that make up Scorpion, only 4 have any actual deco applied: the face, tail, and forearms. That's 17% lower than average for mainline comic figures.
Which is fine. Honestly, they only really needed to paint those 4 pieces anyway. The costume design lends itself to saving money, or at least it would have if Hasbro could color match consistently.
Eye accents, gloves, boots, tail tip, and undies are colored in dark pine green, while everything else is in emerald green, except for the lower torso and hips, which are cast in a much less pearlescent shade. Where the sculpt was designed to hide the thigh cut, the deco only highlights it. With lower than average paint applied and blatant color mismatching, deco earns a slightly lower than average 4 out of 10.
Scorpion has 33 points of articulation, or infinity depending on how you count them. The head sits on the neck with a ball hinge,
while the diaphragm attaches to the lower torso with a double ball peg, a joint we don't usually see on male comic figures but have been showing up more often.
Then, there's a waist swivel that's somewhat pointless in terms of articulation and effectively just makes the lower torso a floating piece.
The shoulders are on hinge swivels followed by a swivel at the bicep. The elbows are double jointed and the hands also act as hinge swivels.
The hips are on a T-joint with a range of motion better than most Spider-Man action figures, followed by cuts at the thigh.
The knees are double jointed with boot cut swiveling just below.
The feet peg into the ankles and act as hinge swivels.
Finally, the tail has embedded bendy wire that allows it to bend and twist to your heart's content, but we're just counting that as one point of articulation.
Overall, the figure has quite decent range of motion, and we'd like to see more of the diaphragm joint in male characters going forward, earning a respectable 7 out of 10.
Overall, Scorpion is a great figure and an improvement in almost every aspect to the original Spider-Man Classics release. He'll easily fit in with the rest of your Spider-Man Rogues gallery, whether you're replacing the old figure or representing him for the first time on your shelf. We know some of you are irked by the painted mouth, so it'd be great to get a repaint of this figure down the line.
With all that said, Scorpion earns a combined score of 7 out of 10. Like Hydro Man, however, we believe he is more than the sum of his parts and award him with an 8 out of 10 as well.
To everyone who has been watching our videos and leaving wonderful comments, thank you so much.
We know we haven't been uploading as frequently as we would like, but we're going to try and be better about it in the future.
If you're a fan of our work, we have an Instagram and Reddit where we post images like this. Follow us at Articulated Show.
And for everyone that thinks this is high quality content and would like to support us, the best way you can help us expand our channel is to share our videos on your favorite social media and to subscribe.
Click the like button if you liked this video, and if you didn't, click dislike. We seriously will take any feedback. Thanks again, guys. I'm Glenn.
I'm Eddie. That was weird.
And this is Articulated.